We appreciate it. We're going to do a ribbon cutting here in a little bit. We got a couple of formality things to do. I want to welcome you to the Idaho Youth Ranch. This is our first building on here. We've got 258 acres out here. A little bit of history. We had 66 years ago, the Reverend Crow in down near Rupert managed to get some land from the government at a very cheap price, and it became the Idaho Youth Ranch at Rupert and has handled thousands of kids. But frankly, in the 66-year history of the Idaho Youth Ranch, this is probably as an important day as it gets. We're going to cut the ribbon on this facility, and we're probably in the August time frame. We'll be kicking off the capital campaign. We just approved at our board meeting today that we're going to look at the next phase, and it's definitely going to be residential. It's going to be for Idaho kids, and it's going to be for kids whether they can afford it or not. And we're looking forward to that phase. My name is Gary Beatty. I've been the chair for the last couple of years, and just today we turned it over to Josh Tyree. I don't know where he got off to. There he is. And it's in good hands because he's way smarter than I am, so that's what we're looking for. I'd like to begin by recognizing some people and organizations that made this wonderful arena. It's going to be just life-changing experiences possible. In the lobby and on the back of your handout, you'll see a complete list of donors. But there are 7 companies and people that I want to recognize, and I'd be glad to have us do a little cheer each one. We don't have to wait. Please join me first in thanking incredible support from the ALSAM group. And I don't know who we have here from the Skaggs organization. But they've been hugely helpful, and we're expecting that they'll continue to be, of course. The Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, I don't know if the daughters are here, or Harry Bettis. I haven't seen him, but if not, let's give them a hand. Micron Technology Foundation has been a huge supporter. Rob and Nancy Roberts of R&N Steel. He's around here someplace. Thank you, Rob. His company donated the steel that you see on the building, so a huge expense. CTA Inc. Vic and Charlotte Armacost. And then if you get a chance, just down the road here is a solar array that was donated by Clean Era. And I don't know what that's worth, but it's probably a couple $100,000. And they came out and helped us put it together, so it's just a huge, and we expect that solar array will manage most of the power, even in a future build-out state. So it's a big deal. And then last in the major donor category is Idaho Power. So thank you again for today, for joining us. We'll start our program with the singing of the national anthem, and a little different. We're going to do that first. Or Garrett will take it. Okay, so I want to introduce Mayor of Caldwell, Nan Colas, and he, in addition to ruling Caldwell for a number of years, he was on the Planning and Zoning Commission for a couple years. He was on the City Council for several years, and he's been the mayor of Caldwell for 20 years, which I think is a little unusual in Idaho, isn't it? So he must be doing something right. And he also sings, which, I worked for Mayor Beater for 12 years, and I don't think the mayor sings. I've never heard of that mayor sings. I do know he used to dance with the bass dancers, but so Mayor Nan Colas, would you lead us?
First, we'll have a presentation of the colors by the Middleton Girl Scout Troop 01. So I will turn the time over to the Middleton Girl Scout Troop for presentation of the colors.
Audience attention. Color guard attention. Color guard advance. Color guard, post your colors. Color guard, honor your colors. We Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now hear the Mayor of Caldwell sing the national anthem.
Please join me if you'd like. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color guard, retreat. Audience dismissed.
You may be seated or stay standing, whichever the case may be. It is really a pleasure for me to be here today, and before I read the proclamation, I would like to acknowledge how lucky this organization is to have Scott Curtis at the helm. I had the privilege of meeting Scott as we opened the YMCA in Caldwell, and I'm not sure I've ever met anybody who has the heart of the youth in his soul more than Scott Curtis. And so this is the perfect assignment for him. The team that he has assembled is second to none. The staff here, those that volunteer here, we are so blessed to have him and this organization in our community. So would you please thank them for all that they do? Okay. Scott says get on with the proclamation. Also, I would like to acknowledge that Senator Risch was not able to be here. However, he did send a letter expressing his acknowledgement of the wonderful accomplishments of the youth and how Idaho Youth Ranch, and how important this organization is to the well-being of the families and youth in our community. So thank you, Senator Risch, for that wonderful letter, and we know that you would be here if you could. Thank you for acknowledging that. We have a proclamation that I would like to read. The Idaho Youth Ranch Equestrian Center Mayoral Proclamation, known as Equine Therapy Day. Whereas it is the intention of the Mayor and Council of Caldwell to focus attention on noteworthy occasions and individuals. And whereas today, on May 9th, 2019, we come together to celebrate the opening of the new Idaho Youth Ranch Equestrian Center at Idaho Youth Ranch Hands of Promise campus. And whereas Idaho is #1 in the nation for cyberbullying. And whereas more than 28% of Idahoans have experienced at least 2 forms of childhood trauma. And whereas in 2017, there were over 1,800 victims of abuse or neglect in Idaho. And whereas suicide is the second leading cause of death for Idaho teens. And whereas Idaho Youth Ranch, founded in 1953, is committed to transforming angry, scared young people into resilient, confident, capable adults through trauma-informed therapeutic interventions. And whereas this new equine center will be used to provide equine-assisted therapy to teens and young adults from across our community. And whereas equine therapy has been proven to be effective in helping victims of trauma transform their experience into an opportunity for strength and resilience so that they may go on to lead successful and productive and happy lives. And whereas Idaho Youth Ranch helps hundreds of kids and their families every year to transform the pain and despair of childhood trauma into hope for a promising future. Now therefore I, Garrett Nancolis, Mayor of the City of Caldwell, Idaho, do hereby proclaim Thursday, May 9th, 2019 as Equine Therapy Day, and I encourage all residents and citizens of Caldwell and the surrounding community to welcome and support this community resource. Signed this day, May 9th, 2019. Congratulations.
Yeah, next I'd like to introduce the Chief Operating Officer and President of the Idaho Youth Ranch, Rick Alis. He's been with the organization some 10 or 12 years now and has been kind of a stabilizing force through a lot of changes these last couple of years. And going forward, he's going to be a huge asset. There you go. Rick Alis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Back in August of 2013, the board of the Idaho Youth Ranch approved relocating the original youth ranch from Rupert to the Treasure Valley. I want to say thank you to Steve Woodworth, who was our CEO at the time, for having the vision that inspired that action. So we began a search for a place for the new ranch. We looked at lots of property all over the valley. Most of it was bare, flat farm dirt. I want to pause a moment here and I want to acknowledge One Stone. One Stone is a nonprofit, student-led organization that's devoted to developing students as leaders in the community. They have over 200 high school students across the valley enrolled in that organization. And over spring break in 2014, about 30 of those young people went down to the ranch in Rupert. And they got together in small groups with our residents down there at the program. And their task was to design the new ranch. So those teams got together and built models. They used pipe cleaners and popsicle sticks, colored yarn, magic markers, scraps of paper. And what they came up with was amazing. Zip lines, waterfalls, lakes, grottos, animals everywhere, and lots of trees. Now bear in mind, at that time we're looking at bare farm ground, and as they briefed their models to our leadership, I wondered, how would we ever build something like that? Well, as a last step in our search, we put out what we called a request for properties, and we sent it to all the realtors in the valley. And the property we're on today is one of the properties that was identified in that search. So Steve Woodworth and I came out here to take a tour, and we stepped out of the car, and all I can say is it was magical. I felt a little bit like Alice going through the looking glass and landing in one of those models that those young people built. So much of what they envisioned was already here. Well, about a month later, our board acquired this property, and I want to thank them for their foresight and their quick action that allowed us to take advantage of the opportunity to purchase this property for less per acre than bare dirt would have cost the youth ranch. And a special thanks to Todd Weltner, our leader at the time, for helping to make that happen. I often say there aren't accidents, that things happen for a reason, and this whole experience confirms that. When I look now at what we began, basically a sketch on a piece of paper, and now I look at this magnificent structure and I think of all the kids that it's going to help find a promising future, and I get that same tingling, magical feeling I had 5 years ago. I want to thank you all for sharing this very special moment for the Youth Ranch, and I want to add a very special thank you to our partners in designing and constructing this. The Land Group, wave your hands, I know you're out there. CTA Architects and Engineers, Firstead Architects, and Jordan Wilkham Construction. These four firms have been working closely with us, supporting us, not only doing their job, but helping us do this in the most efficient, cost-effective way possible. They've been great partners. That's my comments for this morning, and thank you. Gary.